Prior to joining LOGIX, I was in the military for 4 years, stationed in Iraq, stationed in Korea, and traveled around the world a little bit. And now I'm settled back in Texas out here at LOGIX. My lifestyle before joining LOGIX, we were fresh out of college, living paycheck to paycheck, racked up a lot of debt in college like most people do with your credit cards. You first walk in the door, they have credit card stands lined up for everybody there. So of course I did the same thing, got the credit cards, and we were in pretty big financial debt with car payments, credit cards, you name it. We were in that point of debt. So we were living kind of paycheck to paycheck, struggling with what was going on, trying to find a career, someone that we could call home and make some money to pay off that debt. My biggest obstacle when I first started was really kind of getting in front of everybody, getting the cold calling thing taken care of. My previous employer, I worked and I did food service industry, so I could walk into a restaurant, walk into a hotel, walk in somewhere like that, and it was really easy to get in front of the right person. They didn't know if I was an angry customer or something like that, someone that really had a question, so they directly took me to the manager or whoever was running the show there. At LOGIX, it was a little bit more difficult trying to get in front of the right person, because I'd have to walk out there, do my cold calling, and getting kicked out of a million different places, getting walked out by security. A lot different than when I was at Benny Keith. And there was one time we went cold calling, one of my buddies and me, and we went to a place downtown, and they teach you to kind of hop through different floors, where you go the top floor down, keep going down, or just skip around so the security guard can't get a hold of you. So we went to the top floor, got kicked out of one of those, went down to the next floor, and we were stuck in the deal. So we went down to the next floor, knocked on the door there, couldn't get out there, and kept going down, thinking one of these was going to open. Went all the way down to the first floor, and it wouldn't open there either. And we could hear people sitting there walking by. The elevator was sitting right there. We were sitting there banging on the door trying to get out, and no one would answer it for us. So we looked behind us, and there was a hit this button for emergencies only, and it was an emergency exit. So I asked Keith, and he said, you got your keys on you? He said, yeah. So I said, get ready, we're fixing to start running. So we hit the alarm, set the alarm off, opened the door up, and ran off, taken to the car. And we sat there, and we pulled off, and there was about an 80-year-old security guard running after us. And I was sitting there going, I just got out of Iraq, and I'm sitting there running from an 80-year-old security guard here to a building in Dallas. So that was probably one of my biggest obstacles. My first financial milestone with LOGIX was probably when I got my first $10,000 check. I'd been here about 9 months, and we started working with Head Start of Greater Dallas. And we finally got that one to close in March of 2005. And my wife had always wanted a boat, and I didn't think that was anything we could afford probably until we were at least high 30s, maybe low 40s, and didn't think that was a financial thing that we could afford with our current lifestyle. And that gave us the opportunity to do it, so we went out and got our first boat. Before I started at LOGIX, I was living paycheck to paycheck, didn't know where the money was going to come from, and a lot of financial difficulty. We had 3 or 4 credit cards that were totally maxed out, didn't know where the money was going to come from, living on a little tiny place in Fort Riley, Kansas, where we couldn't even really fit a family on there, driving cars we didn't know where we were even going to start when it was cold outside, couldn't fit the family in those either. Had a truck where the kids' faces were just about touching the back seat, and they had no leg room whatsoever, and couldn't even fit all 3 of them in there. One of them had to jump in the back. So over the last few years, I bought 3 or 4 different cars, trying to find one that actually fits the family and one we actually like to drive. Also upgraded our house quite a bit, up now to the house that LOGIX built, where we have plenty of place to move around, got an extra game room upstairs for the kids, and a lot of place where a family can live. In the LOGIX Powerball contest, I won $20,000. When I first won it, my initial thoughts, we were going to get a new boat. My wife has been wanting a new boat for a while. We have the starter edition right now, and she kind of wants something a little bit nicer, but I talked her out of it, since we only really use a boat maybe 2 or 3 months out of the year. So we thought of what would be a better investment, and we thought that our home was probably the best investment we had right now. So we wound up getting a lot of things done to the house with that $20,000. As you can kind of see behind me, we got new granite countertops, bought a brand new living room set for the living room, painted murals in the children's rooms, got a brand new front door, and put a lot of other furniture throughout the house. Now, as everybody coined the phrase, I got the house LOGIX built. Now if I can just get them to build me a water burger out here, I'll be really happy.